Hi, Amy with AJ's Vintage Designs and Fashion Toppings here. Gonna do a little bit of thrifted transformation, or some people call it trash to treasure. Y'all know I love to thrift. Love estate sales, garage sales, and the thrift store. And I have more clothes than I know what to do with right now, so I'm not really thrifting for new clothes. So home decor is the next best thing. I'm gonna show you quick and easy ways to transform your thrifted home decor finds, to update them, give them a new look, whether you're a flipper and you're needing some small items for your shop, so that's what they call smalls. And so if you're needing some smalls for your shop, or if you're just looking to spruce up your house and you want to, get some new home decor in there and to be able to move things around, get a new look without spending a lot of money. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing I'm gonna do is, this is the project up for today. I got this cool little, belong to the top of a dresser. And it's made out of plastic. I only paid $3.63. I gotta get this. They always use marker when they mark on stuff. So there's a big marker on here and it says $3.63. So that's how much I paid for this. And I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do with this. It's gonna be really cute. And then I have this is just my color inspiration. I have this candle and I needed something to put it on and I loved the colors, got it at Target. So I thrifted this cute little candlestick. And when you're looking for candlestick holders, look at all this detail. Look at all that detail. That is gonna be fun to embellish. See all that detail on there? And for this one, I paid also $3.93. So this was $3.63. This was $3.93. Okay, and if you're looking for flipping or selling items, sticking with the white, beige, gray. I know sometimes, people get bored with those colors, but those are the colors that sell. If you're looking at flipping these items and making a little bit of money, stick with the white, beige, and gray. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you need to do is thrifted. You need to clean it. You always have to clean things when you bring them home to the thrift store. You don't know where they've been. And even if you're going to any type of garage sale, anything like that, you never know. Dumpster diving, you need to clean your items. So I'm just gonna clean mine. I'm just gonna put some glass cleaner on this because it is plastic. And I'm gonna spray it onto a rag. You all know how to clean your items. So go ahead, get your items all cleaned up, and then we'll come back and we'll start painting. Okay, so now that we've cleaned it, we have to make sure we have all the cleaning residue off of here. So I'm gonna be spraying it down with my little water misting bottle, spray all of it down, wiping it off, making sure there's no cleaning residue left behind, and then I'm gonna let it dry, and then we're gonna go ahead and start painting. Okay, we're gonna start working on this one first. So I've washed it and I've taken a damp rag over it to get any of the cleaning residue off. Now I'm just gonna remove this. I don't need to remove this if I don't want to, because I'm gonna be putting fabric over it anyway, but it's gonna be easier to work with if I remove this little board. Now, I think I'm gonna try it on this other side. On this other side, I'm gonna paint it with black chalk paint. We're gonna see how it looks, because I might end up wanting to make this into a chalkboard. This one side, is see how nice and smooth it is? So I could turn this into a chalkboard. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint it to make it look like it is a chalkboard, and we'll see how it turns out. And if we don't like it, then I will put the fabric with the batting behind it as a message board. So we'll see how we wanna do it as we go. Okay, first thing, this is plastic and it's not wood, it's plastic. And it's gonna need to be primed in order for the paint to stick, because it's a lightweight plastic. I'm gonna be using Dixie Belle Slick Stick. Okay, Dixie Belle Slick Stick is a primer, but it's got an additive to it. It's like a bonding agent added to it. So it's going to slick to pretty much any surface. Okay, I'm just gonna use a regular small paintbrush. It's the Dixie Belle Flat Small is what it's called. And you can use any brush. Synthetic usually works best, especially if you wanna go without brush strokes. So I'm just taking my Slick Stick. First I'm gonna work out of my lid. I'm gonna dampen my brush slightly, and by damping it with a little mister, nice catch. Dampening it with a mister is going to make less brush strokes. It helps with minimizing brush strokes, and it also helps with having your paint go much farther. You're gonna use a lot less paint if you're using a damp brush. Okay, so I'm just gonna put one coat of this Slick Stick all over. Okay, now I'm gonna let this dry and then I'll show you what's next. Okay, so I started off kind of testing some colors, trying to decide if I wanted to do cream or if I wanted to do white. And so I decided I do want to do the white. This is my inspiration. See this little fish and the dark wax? That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I am going to put just a little bit of fluff. This is the color white, a little bit of fluff. It only takes a squirt. This project's gonna take hardly any paint at all. It's just a little circle of paint right there. We'll do this whole project. Okay, I am going to, if you don't wanna get your hands messy, you can wear gloves, but this is water-based paint. It's gonna wash up in the sink with soap and water very easily. Okay, so I'm using Dixie Belle's fluff, and I'm just gonna apply the paint liberally and I'm kind of jamming it into all the cracks and nooks and crannies. Since there's so many details on this piece that you don't have to worry about brush strokes, because I mean you just need to work the paint into all those areas. And the nice thing is too, is that giving this a fresh coat of paint and adding the white on here, and we'll add some dark wax, you're gonna finally be able to see the details on this beautiful little candlestick. This candlestick has been forgotten and not appreciated. And we're gonna be able to appreciate it once we kind of put our own touch on it. So I'm gonna keep just applying the white paint all over, jabbing it into I'm using the same brush as I used for the slick stick to prime the other piece. The other piece is still drying. So. And the reason I did not prime this one first is you don't have to prime everything when you're using chalk-based paint or mineral chalk paint like Dixie Belle. You don't have to prime. You just have to make sure your surface is clean. Now I primed on the other piece because it was plastic. It was not wood, and it was very shiny. So I knew that paint was gonna have a difficult time sticking to it. And this is having no problem sticking to it at all. So. Actually, I can tip it upside down, put it right on my plate, and I can do it that way so I'm not holding on to it, and I can do the whole underneath. Okay, so let's set this aside and let it dry, and we'll put a second coat on it after it's dried. Let's move back to the frame. Okay, I'm gonna use my leftover paint from this, and I'm gonna do the same thing. Just add the Dixie Belle fluff over the slick stick. Okay. So I will be back after I put on my second coat and my second coat has dried so we can do the next step. Okay, isn't that like nice and clean and new now? Okay, so that's got 2 coats on it, and my little candlestick here, oops, stuck to the plate. My little candlestick here is still drying, but it's got 2 coats on it as well. So I'm gonna set these 2 aside just for a minute. Okay, now I'm gonna take this board, the insert that went to the frame, make sure the stickers are off of it. And I'm gonna paint this with black Dixie Belle chalk paint. We're gonna do it in black. Hopefully I can get the sticker off here. Okay, so I got the sticker off. So what I'm gonna be using is actually the color Caviar. I keep my paints in these, they're called FIFO bottles. I'll put a link down below to, it's my Amazon link. It's an affiliate links, and it doesn't cost you anything extra, but I'm gonna put my link down there to the FIFO bottles that I use. These are great for doing small projects, so you're not opening your paint and contaminating your paint with dipping it in and out and letting it get exposed to air and thicken. You put them in a FIFO bottle and you squirt out what you need when you need it. Okay, I'm gonna use a little bit of this. I'm just actually just put a little bit right on here. I don't need that much, but just squirt a little bit out on there, and I'm gonna use my brush. I'm gonna spread it around. I always like to mist my paintbrush before I use it, just to reduce the brush strokes. And there's part of the sticker just went back in there. Okay, so I'm making a chalkboard simply by putting chalk paint on here, black chalk paint. It's gonna work great. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a nice coat on here. And once again, I'm gonna let this dry after I've got 1 coat on, let it dry, and I'm gonna come back. I'm probably gonna put close to 4 coats on here, 3 to 4 coats, just because I want a nice, thick coverage. There we go. See, I mean, this is gonna be a beautiful chalkboard. But I want to have nice thick coverage because, you know, we're gonna be, you know, putting chalk on it and then wiping it off and maybe wetting it down to clean it. So I just want to make sure that I've got lots of coats for coverage. That's how easy it is to make a chalkboard. Chalkboards, if you price out chalkboards can be expensive. And so I am just using black chalk paint and making my own. And you can put any motivational message on there you want. I'm flicking black paint at myself. Okay. Now look at how beautiful that looks. Long strokes, don't stop halfway through. And there you go. See how nice and smooth that is? You can see, look at that. So that is gonna be our chalkboard. So I'm gonna let this dry. And this, like I said, I'm gonna do this probably 3 times. I think I'm gonna do 3 coats on this. Right now, I have solid coverage. So, you know, you might be tempted to say, okay, I'm done. But I want this to last. I want it to, you know, last through wear and tear. So I am going to be putting, like I said, 3 coats on here. I'm gonna let it dry about 45 minutes between coats, and I'll be back and show you what it looks like when I have all 3 coats on here. Okay, I'm back. I have my 2 coats on each one of my pieces. 2 coats on each. They look fabulous the way they are right now. And I have my little chalkboard done. See how easy that was to do a chalkboard? Next, I'm gonna do 2 different options for you. This one, I'm gonna do some waxing on so you can see wax in the details. But this one, I'm just gonna do a clear wax, and then I'm going to distress it with a little sanding block so that you can see kind of the farmhouse shabby chic look and how easy it is and how little work it takes to update these pieces. This, I mean, looks great just plain white, but I wanted to show you something extra. Now, I'm gonna be using the Dixie Belle Easy Peasy Wax, because it is just, this is the easiest way to wax something. So I'm just going to spray it on. You gotta shake it up first, because you want to get all of the ingredients off the bottom of the container. Shake it up first, and then you just simply spray it. Mist it all over the surface. And if you do it from the side, you can actually see the sheen, so you can see that you're getting all the areas, and everything's getting a nice coverage. Okay, I'm gonna make sure everything, all the way down, fronts and backs. Oops, sprayed on that one. Okay, got it all nice and coated. Isn't that easy? It's easier than getting out a wax brush and having to get the wax in there and, you know, having the wax accumulate in your embellishments, especially when you're using a clear wax. This is like the easiest thing you can do, and it is the Easy Peasy Clear Wax by Dixie Belle. Okay, just gonna let it sit on there just for a minute, and I'm gonna do the same thing to this one. I'm gonna set this to the side. I'm gonna wipe this in just a minute. I'm just gonna let the wax sit there for a second. Now I'm gonna do the same thing to this piece, because look at all that gorgeous embellishment, but you can't see it. So this one, I'm going to actually put some black, I think I'm gonna use black wax. Okay, the reason that I'm spraying this piece with the clear wax, even though I said I'm gonna be using some dark wax on it to show all these gorgeous little embellishments that are on here, these grooves and carvings, chalk paint is porous. And so with it being porous, if I want to put a dark wax on here, the chalk paint is going to want to grab onto that chalk and the wax and not want it to move as easily. So what you do is if you put a clear wax on here, or you can put a top coat, like Dixie Belle's top coat in flat satin, gloss, gator hide, you can put a top coat on it as well. That works as well with all these great, these little carvings. It's just easier to do the spray wax. And then I don't have to worry about getting my paintbrush in all these little nooks and crannies. I can just spray it on. So it will create a barrier between the chalk paint and then the dark wax that you want to do, so that your dark wax will move much easier because it's not being sucked in by the chalk paint. Hopefully that makes sense. So you want to put your first coat, you want to do at least one coat of the Easy Peasy Clear Wax, or a top coat, or you can use Dixie Belle's Brush On Clear Wax as well. Okay, the great thing about this too is that it dries in 30 minutes, but it cures in 6 hours. So that's also a perk of using it. Okay, so I have a clear coat of wax on here. We're gonna work on this one first. I'm gonna show you how easy it is just to get that farmhouse look. I'm gonna take my sanding block and I'm just going to lightly sand over all these gorgeous embellishments. Okay, well since I have that slick stick underneath here, the paint takes a little rubbing to get the paint to come off. Because I want to show the wood. Look at that, I'm showing the embellishments. Now you can use a sanding block or you can use sanding paper. I recommend a 220 grit sandpaper. And you just want to knock off some paint on the embellishments. This is gonna draw attention to all this gorgeous carving and gorgeous detail, which normally would disappear when it's just a solid color. But if you do a little distressing, it draws attention to it so you can see all the embellishments. Okay, I'm just switching to the flexible 220. It's a flexible sandpaper, just so I can get in these grooves easier. So look at how cute this has become. Remember how this is the plastic cheap little frame I got at the Goodwill. And let's put our chalkboard in it. You can season your chalkboard. So I have this chalkboard here that I made out of the caviar chalk paint from Dixie Belle. Now to season your chalkboard, you just take a piece of chalk and rub it all over it. Get chalk dust all over it, and that is gonna season it. However, I'm not a big fan of using chalk on a chalkboard. I use chalk paste or chalk pens, which are nice, they're cleaner. And so I'm not gonna season this. I'm gonna put my little inspirational message on here and then leave it. But look at how cute that turned out. Okay, so we got that done. See how easy it was? I just painted it white, I primed it with slick stick, painted it with fluff, let it dry, sprayed it with spray easy wax, easy peasy wax from Dixie Belle, the clear, and then just sanded out all the details. Easy. Okay, so let's start on this. I'm gonna show you both the black wax and the gray wax because they both would look fabulous on here. So I'm gonna do kind of 1/2 in black and 1/2 in gray so you can see them both. Look at this gray wax. Yummy. This is called Grunge Gray. And I just use a chip brush for putting on my wax. So let's go ahead and I'm just tapping it, not really getting much on my brush. And let's do this side. I'm gonna rub it into, I'm just gonna brush it onto all the embellishments. See, you're gonna be able to see it better. Tap it again. And I have the clear wax on here, so I have a little bit of time to work with before I have to wipe this off. But do small sections first. Oh, I'm thinking I love this gray. I might not do the black, but maybe I will. Okay, so I just covered it in gray. I'm gonna take my lint-free rag and I'm gonna wipe it off all the high points. The white will come back. The white will come back, and then the gray is gonna sit down in the grooves. So you rub it off all the high points, see? And let the gray wax sit down in the grooves. See, and you just rub it out of any areas you don't want it. And if you want to lighten, if you got it on too dark and you want to lighten any area, spray a little easy peasy wax on your rag and use it as an eraser. See, now you can see the details now. Okay. Here you can hardly see the details. You can hardly see them. Putting the gray wax on there, now you can see all the details. Okay, so that is the gray. Okay, now I'm gonna do the other half in black. Normally you would do the whole thing in one color, but I'm showing you the differences. Okay, so I'm gonna tap on the black. I'm using the same brush, and I'm gonna lightly rub the black over all the details, just like I did with the gray. There's not a big, huge difference between the black is just slightly darker. You wipe it on, you wipe it off. It's going to stick in the grooves and you're wiping it off all the high points so that all the high points of all your decoration right here, your embellishments, will stay white, and down in the grooves, it will be black. Or in this case, the black is actually looking like an extremely dark gray. Okay, so this is the black wax. I don't know which one I like better. So we have the gray wax, which is very subtle. And then we have the black wax, which is just a shade darker. Okay, well, and then this is done. You don't have to do anything more to it. Now it's gonna look really pretty holding my candles. Okay, so I spent $3.93, I think, on this one. It's either, yeah, $3.93. And then I spent $3.63 on this one. Look at that. I used very little paint. I spent very little money buying these, and now I have these cute little home decor items in my house that I know I would have paid a lot more for if I bought them new, looking like this. Okay, well, don't forget to check me out on all of the social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and my blog. All of them are AJ's Vintage Designs. And my blog page is actually www.ajsvintagedesigns.com. And if you want to go shopping for any of the products that I used in this video, my affiliate link is down below as well for Dixie Belle and their products. But I'm thinking about doing a series on these, where I go thrifting. I find items that have seen their better days, but have the potential to be something beautiful for your home, as far as spending very little money and not having to do a lot of work, but spruce up the items to make them little showstoppers for your room. Like this one, $3.63, and now I have a cute little chalkboard. So, okay, well, this is Amy with AJ's Vintage Designs and Fashion Toppings. Until next time, I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.